All right, here we go. Hello, everyone. I'm James, and this is really exciting because I have three awesome people here today to teach you all how to make apps without coding. And so I'm here today with David and Rafiki, who are two of the experts on drag and drop code, and they've actually created a course and a book on how to code without actually coding. And I'm also here with Yulia today, who is the founder of NoDress.Code, and she is empowering lots of girls around the world in building apps. So everyone needs to have Thunkable to do this workshop. So while we're talking, you can go to thunkable.com and get set up. And while you're doing that, I'll let David and Rafiki and Yulia just say a few words about what excites them about this.
Cool. Yeah. No, I love teaching everyone, and especially beginners who have never coded before, to build apps. And in my class, I teach in the first 10 minutes. The students are kind of expecting to see a syllabus or something, but instead they build an app in the first 10 minutes of class, and it kind of just like people are like, "What? I didn't know that's possible." But anyway, it's very motivating. And by the end of the 15-week semester, or even after just a few weeks, people can build really cool apps, run them on their iPhone or Android, and show their parents and their grandparents, and so it's really super fun. So yeah, I'm very motivated to teach beginners.
Cool.
So my quick word is that I came to technology from social work and ministry. So always I've been committed to this spirit of empowering people, right? Expanding the word beyond the priesthood, right? And so no code building of apps is a way of empowering the ability to be involved in an important technology beyond the priesthood, beyond the people who are technically trained, traditionally trained, degrees in computer science. And I've been journeying with my dear friend, Dr. Wilbur, now for over 10 years. We've been on this mission, and it's been great. And I definitely look forward to the road ahead in the age of AI.
10 years? Okay, wow.
Yeah, they've flown by fast.
Um, Hi everyone. I came to the tech world from finance, so I also didn't have any technical background, but I was always interested in business and startups in the tech world, and like it was a difficult journey just to get in. And with the program that I'm currently running, NoDress.Code, basically with this program, we are helping other women who are facing the same struggles. Like they really want to build something, but they don't know how to do it. So we say them, oh, don't need much. You don't need like a team. You don't need a brilliant idea. You don't need like a lot of coding skills or experience. You can come and join us and start implementing your ideas to show, to bring them into the world. So excited to have you all here and hope you enjoy the workshop. I would be also curious to know who is here with us today. Maybe we can ask participants for a quick introduction in the chat.
Yeah. So I'm about to add the rest of the people here, and there's actually a lot of people. So if everyone could just take 30 seconds as I'm adding you to say, what's your name, where you're calling from, what's your experience, and what you're building. So if you can remember all of that, that would be awesome. So I'm just gonna add the rest of everyone in here, and yeah, Freddie, you can start. Let's see. All
Freddie,
right.
can you hear us?
Or Emily, you can start. That's fine.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Emily. I'm calling in from Dublin, Ireland, and I'm looking to start an app called Uniswap, which is basically for university students to swap clothes, books, sports equipment, It's kind of aimed at being sustainable, all of us as a community, and reducing waste.
Great.
Nice.
All right. And Letitia, someone I recognize.
Hi. So, well, James already knows me. We've been building the MVP of my application together, Learning Barefoot. The idea is to be a platform to help educators and parents to connect children with nature. Fede is also working with me. And it's all nice. It's very nice to see you all here. I'm Leticia, as James said. I'm from Brazil, but I'm calling now from Portugal.
Cool. Anna? Hey.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Anna. I'm from Budapest. So I'm calling from Hungary. And I'm looking to build a dating app where you would have built-in advice from matchmakers or dating coaches, basically.
Nice.
Awesome. Cool. Felipa?
Yes, hi. I'm basically here because Julia was so nice to invite me, and I already had a session with James, which was great. My team and I, we're building a platform that is going to enable people, first in Lisbon, but it's going to be scalable. So it's going to enable people to host people in their place to co-work together, to get a little bit closer to solve social isolation in the remote workforce. Because I experienced it myself. Even today, I was working by myself at home the whole day. And after one day, I can even recognize that it doesn't make me as happy. And I just, if I had this app, I could have hosted people today and have them here. Yeah, and I even earned some extra money. So that's basically the concept behind it.
Awesome. And I think next is Blanca.
Hi. Hello, I'm Blanca. I'm calling from Lisbon, Portugal.
You again.
I have a digital marketing background, and I'm a little bit of a crazy lady, a highly social person. So I'm also working on a dating application, and I'm trying to re-educate people how to be playful again and how to make friends in a playful way. And hopefully I can reduce loneliness as well.
Nice. Cool. Federica?
Hi, my name is Federica. I'm also based in Lisbon, and I am one of the participants of NoDress.Code, and that's why I'm here today. On one side, I'm working with Leticia a bit on our project, but also I'm the kind of person with still 1,000 ideas and looking for the way how to realize them. So that's why I'm part of the program and I'm taking part in the workshop today.
Cool. And I think the last one would be Coco. Coco, are you there?
Hi everyone. My name is Kautar. I'm from Morocco, and I'm here to know and.
Oh, hello?
Lost her, I think.
All right. I guess that's Coco. But feel free to, if you're joining us and you're not here on the screen, feel free to write something in the chat, in the comments, and we will see that right away. I'll be watching. And I guess, oh yeah, and if you're here, there's a lot of people in here, so if I miss you or something, just write me a comment in the chat, and I will put you on the screen if you're not on the screen, because it is crowded in here. So with all that said, if everyone could go to Thunkable.com. I know it's really nice just to watch sometimes, but in this case, you're going to be amazed by what you can do just by dragging 8 blocks together on the screen. And that's why David's demo is so impressive. So with that said, I'm going to let David share his screen and start showing how it's done.
All right, just a second here. I want to do entire screen, that, and share. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to build something with Thunkable, and it's going to be a pretty simple app, okay, and that I think you could do on the first day when you're learning Thunkable. But we're going to connect to OpenAI, and most software today, there's some connection to that incredible brain out there that you can talk to. So the idea is, ChatGPT is great, but you can build software on top of it that kind of has a user interface and that can do stuff with the data, and use OpenAI as part of it. So it's super powerful software that you can build. So anyway, this is the Thunkable main screen, and if you got an account with Thunkable, the first thing I want you to do is grab this starter app, and then you can kind of follow along with me. But if you grab this tinyurl.com, Socrates NDC, and open that app, you should get to a point where you're kind of looking at what I'm looking at.
Just put that up on the screen for everyone. So it's tinyurl.com/Socrates NDC.
That's right. NoDress.Code NDC.
Got it.
Okay, cool.
Let us know if that works for you, if that's working. Works for me.
Okay, cool. Good. Okay, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about, there's two main screens with Thunkable. One's design and one is block. So design is where you kind of draw the user interface, and blocks is where you code the behaviors, right? And with this starter app, all the starter app is I kind of drew the interface. So, and you could do this very easily. Like you could just drag on a label, right, and put some text in there. And that's exactly what I did to build this label that says "Talk to Socrates." And you can drag in an image, and with this image, you can set the picture either to a URL to a picture, or you can upload a picture as well. And then these guys are what are called text inputs or text areas. This one is where the user is going to type their question to ask Socrates, okay? And then this one is where the response is gonna show up. So pretty simple user interface with about 4 or 5 things, and you can just do it with kind of drag and drop from the left over here. And then on the right is where you can set the properties for each component. Like for instance, this text is not editable and it's multi-line. And the button, the text on the button is ask. And another important thing, especially for the blocks you're going to use in the code part, is to name your components. Like I call this ask button, and I always leave the component name as part of the name, because it helps when we go to the code part.
Now, David, it's a little bit small for us. Is it possible to like command plus maybe just a little bit to, I think that might be a little bit better.
How's that? Is that a little bit better?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good.
And how long would that take you just to make that one screen from scratch?
Yeah, like 2 minutes probably. It's literally just drag and drop, set a few properties, and that's it. So, one nice thing Thunkable has is, and they used to have more of a, web kind of thing, but now it's all drag and drop where you don't have to use CSS or anything, and you can kind of just move things around, and sometimes little red lines will come up to, so you can center things easily and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really nice way. And with Thunkable, you can build prototypes or you can build complete apps. But for entrepreneurs, it's fantastic because you can build stuff very quickly, even if it's just going to be a prototype, right? But you can build complete apps as well.
So I want to jump in right quick and underscore something to our attendees that Dave and I share with students in the classroom, right? Think before you code, plan before you code, right? And even though Thunkable is very easy and it's easy to use, you always want to think out what your journey is going to be before you start coding, right? And that will save you even more time on top of the time that Thunkable will save you. So sketch out, like do an outline and just know, like, this is what I want to achieve. This is what I want the user to experience. Just map it out. And then you can always change it, but don't do a journey without a map. Don't do a coding journey without a map, or you will just be forever in a loop. So
yeah, I love
yourself
that.
that favor. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is do the coding for the app. And up here on the top left, I'm going to choose blocks. Okay, and this is, the nice thing about Thunkable is you code by kind of plugging blocks together. And you'll notice over on this left side, it's got all the components, the names of them, right? So for instance, there's ask button, and that just refers to this button over here that's named ask button. So you just got to kind of know what the names of things are. And in this case, we want the action to happen when they click the ask button. So what the user will do is type some question in, and once they click ask, then we're going to put a response for them here. So in our blocks, the first thing you're going to do, and what these things are called are event handlers, and they're kind of the main construct in Thunkable. And they're when blocks. So when the button is clicked, or when the screen opens, there's various events that you can respond to, and that's where the code goes. So when this ask button is clicked, what do we want to do? And today, what we're going to do is we're going to ask OpenAI a question. So let me just show you how the connection to OpenAI works. And if you go down to this advanced section, and I'm not sure why it's in advanced, because it's an easy to use block, but that's how it is right now in Thunkable. It maybe should say super powerful. But anyway, there's this OpenAI service, and this is the way your app talks to ChatGPT, basically. Okay, so on OpenAI service, there's one setting you need to set, which is the key, because you need a key to run OpenAI, and your app already has this. So the starter app has my key that you're using. That key will die, tomorrow. Okay, so you can play around with it today, but you'll need to set a key for when you run apps. The other thing I'll do, which you can do, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to say model for the property and GPT 4.0. Okay, and I'm going to add that. You don't need to do that, but it might use a lesser API or OpenAI model. But that's what I'm going to do for this one.
So the only thing that you've done so far that everyone needs to do is to drag that orange block onto the white screen, right?
That's correct. So what I just showed you, your OpenAI service should be set up already. And just a quick note, later, if you want to build apps that connect to this super powerful block, it's real easy to go, and over on the left of my screen here, you can go to openai.com/API and get your own key. And they'll give you credits. I think they're doing that right now. And if they don't, if you put a credit card in, you can get credits, and it's extremely inexpensive while you're just building, basic apps like this. So I encourage you to get that, because it opens up a world of, very much a lot of magic to your app.
Cool. And if everyone has gotten this far, so if everyone's gotten to the template and then clicked on blocks and then added that orange block, if you're able to find it, just say yes in the comments so we can know that you're still following with us.
Okay, cool. James, do you think we should hold up for a second?
We got Freddie's with us, Letitia's with us, Anna's with us, Emily's with us. Sweet. Okay. If anyone is stuck, then let us know.
Yeah, shoot questions. Don't feel like you will shoot them out if you got questions, and we'll pause and catch you up.
And you're recording this, correct, James? So they'll be able to review every step of this experience, correct?
Yep. Felipe's with us too, and yeah, you can actually, if you're watching right now, you can actually even rewind and check the last 10 minutes if you got stuck.
Nice. Okay, so the next step, when they click that button, we want to call OpenAI. And this purple block right here, and I noticed I clicked on OpenAI service down at the bottom in advanced. This purple text completion block is the block, super block of all time. And that it's basically like you typing something in a chat GPT. Okay. And so when the user clicks the button, we're going to want to call OpenAI. And I could type a question in here. Like I could say, okay, who is Aristotle? We're going to actually change this because this would be a fixed, question to ask OpenAI. And we're going to end up getting it from the user, right? But the prompt is basically the question you're asking. And then this green response block is what OpenAI returns to you. Okay. And so from our question, what we're going to want to do is grab the response, and we're going to want to stick it in this thing called response text input. So if you go back to the designer, that's this guy. Okay. So I'm going to grab a block called set text, and that's how you kind of change what's in the text. And I'm going to stick it right inside, and make sure you don't put it below here. Make sure you put it right in here, because only here do you know that this text completion is done, that OpenAI has returned your answer to you. Okay, and of course, what we want to set this text to is whatever OpenAI returns as a response.
So whatever goes inside that, what do you call it? Like a mouth?
The slot. I just called it a slot.
Yeah. This what always looks like a mouth to me. The slot is what happens after OpenAI is finished and sends the text.
Yeah, it should really say like when done, something like that. But you got to be careful because Thunkable's multi-threaded. So when you call this text completion, if you have blocks below here, they'll happen at the same, they'll happen before OpenAI gets its job done. So you just got to be wary of that and make sure you put anything you want to happen after this inside the then do part, the then do slot. Yeah. Okay. So cool. Let's run this. This is not exactly what we want, right? Because the question is fixed and whatnot, but let's just see if our connection is working. And so I'm going to click this web preview up here. And I don't even need to type a question. So I'm the user right now, right? I'm testing, and I'm going to click the ask button. And I'm using 4.0, so it should go kind of slow. But you'll notice I'm getting a kind of generic answer back for who Aristotle is. Okay. So anyway, we're connected to OpenAI, so that's good. It means my key is working correctly. If you get something that says like undefined or something, that means your key is not set with OpenAI, and so that's an error you'll find if you're not set up correctly. Okay. I'm gonna go.
So we just have a couple of comments. Freddie says he missed the third block, so that's the green one. Or actually 4 blocks connected, right?
Yeah, I think the main one is, make sure you get this response block. And it's weird. You click right on it, and then you stick it where you want to put it. And what we want to do is, we basically want to change what's in the response text area to be whatever we get back from OpenAI.
Yeah, so Freddie says he has the orange and the purple one. The set response text one you got from the top left, right?
Oh, good. Yeah, so over on the top left is all your components from your user interface. And response text input is this guy. You can see the name over here. But in my blocks, I just went over to it. And then, for all your components, you can change properties or you can look at properties. And with these text inputs, this text property is the really important one. And in this case, we want to change what's in it. So we grab the dark green set block. And that's what I dragged in to here.
Freddie,
yeah.
Does that help? Yeah, Freddie says thanks. Perfect.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm the set blocks, and then what are called get blocks are these light green ones. They're fundamental. You'll use them all the time for all kinds of different components. It's basically set means change memory or change the user interface, and then get, these, they don't say get, but they mean, show me what's in that block. Anyway, yeah.
Tisha said she missed the key, but I think that's included, right?
Oh, the key, yeah. If you used the starter app,
yeah,
then the key should be already set in your OpenAI service block component. And like I said, this is the one that we're using for this workshop, and then it'll go away at some point.
Cool. Did everyone manage to get this far? So they should be at the point where when they click the button that it shows AI generated text, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Has everyone been able to get that to work? We see Anna says yes. Letitia, oh yeah, the URL is, the URL, if you started from the tiny URL, this one, you have it already. So you don't need to worry. Yeah, good. Did everyone manage to get the text generated? Okay. Sharifa says, I need to enter input in the text box before I can click yes. Interesting.
Well, yeah, that's what we're going to do now, because right now, I've just got this fixed question that always gets asked, right? So the app's not very interesting at this point. So the next thing you want to do is indeed grab whatever the user's typed. And if we go back to the designer, they're typing in this component called text input 1. Maybe I could rename that, user input or something. But anyway, text input 1 is that component. And so what I want for my prompt is I want to stick text input 1 in there. And in fact, I'm going to get the get block, the light green one, and I want to know what's in that text. And basically, this thing is what has the user entered in the text inputs text? What have they entered in there? And now we're going to use that for the question. So now if I go and if I test this, I can say, okay, who was Plato? I don't know why I'm asking Socrates about all his friends. And then I clicked ask, and it's going to give me some answer.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, tell James if you're at the point where you got that part working. But the main thing I did was I grabbed the text inputs text, from the component over here, and I just stuck it in as the prompt. And now that means our app is actually reacting to the user. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is we want to use prompt engineering, right? So let's say what we want is we want Socrates to answer in the first person from his perspective, right? Right now we're getting answers that are just generic OpenAI answers. But with prompt engineering, you can say stuff like, oh, please answer to an audience at the 9th grade level, like if you're building something for kids. Or you can say, okay, answer it with a tone or with, as Shakespeare, right? So you can do all kinds of different prompt engineering. And the way you're going to do it with Thunkable is I'm going to go over to the red text folder and I'm going to grab a join block. And this just joins pieces of text. And I'm going to, I no longer want to just do the user's question, but I'm going to do the user's question, but I'm going to join it with some instructions. Okay. And I'm going to say, okay, please answer in the first person from, and you're not going to be able to see this, but from the perspective of Socrates.
And attendees, as you continue to learn about building AI apps or the AI environment, you may see the term system prompt. This is an example of that. With a system prompt, you set the frame for how your app will behave or what persona it will take on.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Rafiki. Yeah, so basically in the OpenAI vernacular, this is the system prompt and then this is the user prompt. And usually those are combined to sense, so there's, kind of beneath the scenes, your software is adding this prompt engineering or this system prompt, and then the user is going to be able to type whatever they want here. So anyway, that's the basics. You could do all kinds of stuff here, but that's the basics of prompt engineering. And so if I run this, and now if I say, okay, who was Plato, and I click ask, notice it's like you're having a conversation with Socrates now. Plato was one of my most distinguished students, et cetera, et cetera. And it kind of gives it from his perspective where, oh yeah, I'm not just talking about Plato, I'm talking about this guy that was his student. So it's kind of cool that you can instruct OpenAI to do stuff like that.
That's awesome. Sharifa says this is so cool. I got there too. Who else got this far? Can I show mine?
Yeah, please.
Sure. Yeah, we want to see yours.
All right, cool. So I'm going to remove that and I'll show. Let's see. Okay, this is what I made this. Oh, someone's commenting. I made this just now. Cool.
I love it.
Great.
So what should I ask?
What's his favorite bones?
All right. What's your favorite bone? Let's see. My favorite bone is a big, juicy.
That's hilarious.
Maybe I could even ask it, what can you tell me what is Thunkable?
Scooby Doo's take.
You can
wow.
needing to know how to code, like zoinks.
I love it. So we need the Scooby Doo tutor for Thunkable. That's wonderful.
So
James,
clearly, James's system prompt was to answer in the persona of Scooby Doo, right?
Yeah.
So this is where you can get creative with your system prompts, right? You give your app a personality, right? Which is really cool.
Nice. Yeah. Sharif, I love that. Yeah. That's a great question for Socrates, his view on human relationships. James, I wonder if you want to, one thing we haven't added is like a loading icon. Do you want to try to add one of those on your app since you're showing?
Oh, you want to guide me through it?
Yeah, just scroll down in the designer, scroll down a little bit and you can find the loading icon on the left.
Okay, sure. So I gotta
stay in design.
Oh, exit the web preview, stay in the design, which is here.
Yeah, and then scroll down. Yeah, keep scrolling down a little bit, and there you go. Yeah, use search and find it. Yeah, good.
That's my way.
And
So
yeah, stick it wherever is fine. You might stick it like in the bottom text area because that's what it's
here. That makes a lot more sense.
And then see that little visible property to the right?
Right here.
Yeah, just click it. It's a bad UI, but yeah, just leave it as like that. So it's going to be.
Oh yeah, I can see if I look closely. Yeah.
Sweet. So we don't want it to show up when the app starts, but we do want it to show up in your block. So go to the blocks now.
Mm-hmm.
And right before you ask your question, go over to loading icon and go to the bottom, and you're going to want to set it visibility to true.
Okay. So this is making it visible.
That's correct.
And I want to put that in the slot.
No, do that above. So right before you ask, even above every, so right at the top of ask button .click.
I want to put that here, make it visible. And then if Letitia actually showed me how to do this. I can copy and paste it.
Oh, cool.
And then put another one here to turn it off, right?
Nice, good. And make sure it's false.
False.
And that's it. So it just makes it a lot better for the user because they're not thinking something's wrong as you're waiting there.
Okay, let's try it. Preview. And after this, it would be cool to see if anyone else has created something. Beautiful. Cool.
Nice. Yeah, good. Should we ask folks to show? The only other thing I was possibly going to show is maybe the error checking or image generation. But I think we should let's have folks show their apps.
Yeah, let's give the microphone to the audience for a bit. Has anyone made something cool that they want to show? They didn't come up with a cool prompt? What we could also do, let's see. Letitia says, what could it be when the loading icon doesn't show after asking a question? Do you want to show your screen for a second? Let me bring you back. You're on the stage. Do you want to show your screen for a sec? Oh, you just want to see? Sure. Let me show my blocks.
Yeah, I think the key is make sure that that's set to true at the top there. So loading icon visible to true.
Yeah.
And make sure you do it before the call to the text completion block. Then it should show up.
And make sure that the block is also solidly in the slot, right? You should hear a click every time you insert a block where it should be or where you want it to be. You should hear a click. So it might just be setting above the space, but not in the space.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Rafiki. She got it I think it was just not quite locked in there.
You can put it here, and it's not quite in there, or here.
Yeah,
right. you'll hear click.
Yeah, you'll hear the click, and you'll get used to the visual cues that they give you as well. That's one nice thing. One nice thing about a block's language is those visual and audio cues that you do not get when you're coding in JavaScript or Python.
Just as you were saying that, I was thinking, I wish I could get this in JavaScript. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what you do get in those languages is like the text coloring and all that kind of stuff. But the blocks really make it so if you're doing something weird, it'll kind of let you know about it.
So, David, this AI stuff is really awesome, but of course, there's a lot of other non-AI stuff that would probably be really useful for people. Felipa says, computer and internet was super slow. But super cool to know this is possible. Yeah, sure. Feel free to go back and watch the demo. I was thinking, since people are building all these different kind of apps, it might be a good opportunity for them to ask, what kind of features are possible to do? I know Letitia and I have been working on an app that allows people to search through a catalog of educational activities and then to mark off the ones they finished. We've also done sign in and sign out, but it might be interesting to know like what kind of challenges people are working on, and for them to ask, how difficult is this to do with Thunkable, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, good. Maybe as people, if people want to throw out a question, do that. One thing I can also show, James, if you want to allow me to show, I can show a couple things that can be helpful.
Sure. Yeah, just remove the StreamYard from the...
Oh, I'm up, huh?
I can put you up. Oh, yeah, perfect.
Okay, cool. So, one thing, I have a site and I'm actually working on a new version of it, but right now you can go to NoDress.Code.com where the tutorial was. And one thing is I have a Thunkable book for free if you click on that link, and you can get to all these chapters. And there's, as you can see, the chapter 8, you can build kind of a simple game. And
you make it a little bigger?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, chapter 8, you can build like kind of arcade games. It's a lot of fun to do that stuff. One thing is chapter 5, you build an app that uses a spreadsheet. So it's kind of the first database part. Like this is a Meet My Classmates app where you can have a bunch of people in your class and do things like pair them up and that sort of thing. So what you mentioned, James, chapter 5 would be there are tutorials in here that one could use.
Cool.
And then for users and posting apps, this chapter 11, there's a template you can start with, and then you can build like a mini Instagram kind of app, a simplified version, of course, but that can get you started for building an app, kind of like you were mentioning this, build a photo sharing app. And then you got maps and location and various things. But for all these chapters, there's kind of the book chapter, and then if you go below, you can get to videos here that kind of do the same thing that's in the book chapter if you prefer to watch video.
Cool. So that is DragAndDropCode.com. Easy to remember.
That's right.
Cool. Yulia, I know that you had an idea for an app, right?
I always have ideas for the apps, but the last one, I will be building an app for collaborative poetry writing.
Mm-hmm.
So where like one user writes a line and it gets forwarded to some random person and they can contribute to the line as well. Yeah, I will start, and I was thinking of building it with Thunkable. So we'll study your tutorials. Thank you, David.
Yeah, good. For that one, it's interesting. Thunkable's got some nice things for. They're called persistent variables that make it real easy to build kind of chat apps. And so if you go to chapter 12, let me just make sure.
And it might be also interesting, Yulia, if you test a version of your app of co-writing with OpenAI, right? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes people can co-write with the AI, and sometimes they can co-write with other people, other humans, or you can include OpenAI in the human loop, right? Just to see you have fun. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, we had, yeah, and it's chapter 12, by the way, Yulia, on that for the chatting kind of thing. But yeah, one thing some students built, follow up on what Rafiki said, is debate apps, and where you've got Socrates and somebody else, or some economists, Marx and Ingalls, or but you can make it where it's OpenAI and the user, kind of all three of them can debate each other. So it's really, really cool and pretty easy to build, not too far different than what we did today.
Yeah, sounds very cool.
What are the main features that you would need for your app? You told it to me before, but remind me.
Well, like, okay, how to summarize it, but literally like an interface like for one user, where they would be entering like the input for the data, then the interface where they can watch all the previous poems to which they have contributed to, and and then there's some like algorithm which would be forwarding the lines between the users, the point between the users, and like a bit of control option. So I was thinking for the author, the idea to be able to stop the creative process when they want to.
Love it. Cool.
So one person starts a poem, and then that gets matched with someone else who then continues it. That's how it works, right?
Yes, pretty much.
Oh wow, nice. Yeah, I like that.
So how would you? Yeah.
Go ahead, James. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's your turn.
No. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask David and Rafiki. So how would you go about creating something like that in Thunkable, where you have multiple users being able to access? They're kind of randomly assigned documents, so data sharing across user accounts.
Yeah, the simplest way is like with that Meet My Classmates app. You can have a spreadsheet which serves as your database, and you can also use Airtable. There's other databases you can use as well, but you would basically store each, and that posting app I mentioned does this, but it's all, in this case they're posting poetry, and so then you would say, okay, go get all the ones from Yulia, and then and take that, and for a different user they could see that, and then they would add the next part. So either with spreadsheets is how you can share, or there's also these things called cloud variables, which is really great for quick and easy, like on the fly sharing between users, because the variables are basically used by the whole site, like by everybody on the site. And it's a nice feature that Thunkable has, where you can basically say, okay, this variable is not just for my own app instance, it's for everybody, right? And so it really makes it easy to build those kind of chatting kind of things.
Could a variable also be like a list, like a cloud variable?
Absolutely, yeah. So the cloud variables can be any kind of variable.
So I could have. Let me know if this makes sense. I could create a cloud variable where I have a list of all of the poems that people are working on, and then it's like when you get to you add them to the people new poems that get added to the top of the list, and then when you want to work on someone else's poem, it could take the one off the bottom of your list. Then
yeah, like you could give them, let them choose from that list.
Yeah.
And then if they make a change, then it would go at the top of that, so maybe that list would have all the different entries as opposed to the full poems or whatever, or the whole poem including the last entry. And yeah, and so yeah, a cloud variable would be a nice way to do that.
Because they also have a data store, right? Like a custom database as well in Thunkable, right?
Yeah, there's these things called data sources.
Data sources,
you know, and they're really nice. They let you connect to either a spreadsheet or like an Airtable database.
Okay.
And once you've made that connection, Thunkable creates blocks to get the data out of the database and to put things in, right? So it gives you very specific blocks for your own database that you've created. So it's a fantastic way to do stuff with data, which is, it's definitely a next level, right, of sophistication is apps with data that you're storing persistently.
Yeah, but it seems like it can do quite a lot. That's really cool.
Yeah, you can pretty much build anything with the Thunkable language, and you can do it very quickly, which is nice, and without the startup time for learning is very quick.
Cool. So we have time for just a few more questions. Yeah, thanks, Pawan. We have time for just a few more questions for David. Any question you have, the floor is open. So it's up to you. If you want to ask a question, comment something, and I can also add you onto the stage. Okay, we have one question here from Sharifa, who says, for an app that helps a user create recipes based on ingredients that the user has, how can we save the ingredients so they can keep coming back to their list and only adjust as needed? What a great question.
Yeah, so I think the idea of the data source with a spreadsheet, and in the book, that's chapter 5, is where you would start with that, and so all you would have all your recipes, or all the ingredients for each particular recipe would show up in that spreadsheet, Sharifa, and then you could, Thunkable will create blocks so you can grab, give me all the ones for recipe 3, and then you could show those to your user. So you can kind of organize your data, from that spreadsheet. So when in my class, I just, for the most part, students use Google Sheets and create their data in that, and then they access it using the data sources in Thunkables.
Yeah, so I've done this once before, and so you have there's on the design part, you go up to data, and we can add data source here, right?
Good. Yeah, correct. Yeah. So you can choose any kind of data, Google Sheet or Airtable, and yeah. So if you click Create New there, James, and then like if you choose Google Sheets, you can choose any of your Google Sheets.
Okay, and so this is for read and write.
That's correct. That's correct. So once you make this connection, it generates a bunch of blocks for you, including reading from the sheet and writing. So it basically just makes it, just like when you type things into the spreadsheet or you look at it, it lets your app do that, and it gives you the blocks to do it.
Cool.
Yeah, maybe if we have another session, we could focus on the data part, because it's very, you need it for most apps you're going to do.
Yeah, I did one live stream before with Letitia where we figured it out together.
Nice.
Just the basics. I didn't even know that you could write data as well.
Yeah, there's a create row block, and then there's a update row, or update value or something, so that will change items in the spreadsheet.
So we have one more question from Coco, which you answered in the chat. But the question was, is Thunkable for websites?
Yeah, James, I'll present real quick, and I can just show.
Yeah, sure.
So it's pretty nice in Thunkable is you can do publish and download right here, and one thing you can do is publish a web app. The publish iOS is a complicated process. Android is a little simpler, but this publish web app is very nice. And you can say, okay, I want a mobile web app or a responsive web app. And as soon as you do that, your app is live, right? So if I wanted to do this guy, I could say, okay, give me a link and publish it. And it's hosted at Thunkable. But like if on my new drag and drop code site, I can embed all my apps directly on that site, and people, when they come to it, they can use it. So, for instance, I've got an example is this People's AI, and so this is a running app on a web page, right? And so I can click it, and in this case, it just does kind of the same thing we were doing today, where you can ask, in this case, Claudette Colvin questions. But you can embed this in any site that you would like.
Okay, but it's still gonna look like a mobile app, right?
Unless, like, if you choose, when I did the publish thing, it said, do you want a mobile or responsive? And I think if you choose responsive, then it is more like a web page or something.
Oh, I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah, I haven't played around too much with that, but yeah, I think that's how that's where you would use it if you were trying to build a website, I think.
Great. Well, I know you have to go in a couple of minutes, and this has been really, really nice for me. It was super inspiring to see everyone coming in and telling about the projects that they're working on. So yeah, thanks a lot, everyone, for joining.
Yeah, no dress code rocks. I love it. It's great to meet everybody and see what you're doing. And one thing, I'm wolberd@gmail.com. So feel free to shoot me email as you're learning on this stuff. I'm happy to help.
Did I spell that correctly?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sure. Thanks everyone for joining.
Oh, thanks, Blanca.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much, David, Rafiki. It was really interesting session. I'm sure girls before that they had experience with Bubble, and after Bubble everybody was overwhelmed. It is impossible to learn it very fast. It is because it's definitely not an easy tool to learn. But I would imagine that after this session they left pretty inspired. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And any time, Yulia, just let us know, and we're happy to help. And thanks, James, for running this. This is great.
Definitely,
I appreciate it.
Definitely, thank you, James.
Yeah, and you too, Rafiki.
Yes, my pleasure to be here. My pleasure to be here. And for attendees, don't forget to map before you journey. Sketch out your app details, what you want to achieve, the features you want. It'll really help you organize your thoughts and save time.
Yeah, Burhan mentioned it's like Scratch, and in fact, this Scratch was built at MIT, and this tool also kind of came from that same progression at MIT through App Inventor and now what's called Thunkable. So it's kind of cool that's happened.
All right. Well, I'll end the stream now, but I'm sure we'll be back for the next one. So
yeah.
Thanks
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
All right.
Take
Thanks,
care. Be
everyone.
well. Have a
Yeah.
great day.
All
See
right.
you.
See you later.
Nice day.
Bye-bye.